Okay, good morning. Thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to be here. I've never been in this space before, so I'm really enjoying it. I've enjoyed talking to a couple of you and meeting a couple of you, and I hope after this presentation I can talk with some more of you. So my name is Lauren. I work at Lutheran Social Services of the National Capital Area. We're a refugee resettlement agency. We have an office in Fairfax, which is not too far from here, sort of on the line between Fairfax and Annandale and Little River Turnpike. We have an office down in Dale City in Woodbridge, and then one in Hyattsville, Maryland. So we resettle out of these three offices, and our main office is in DC. So I'm going to tell you today a little bit about our services, who is eligible for our services, what we do, how we help people, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about volunteer opportunities as well. So maybe it would be a good fit for you to receive some of our services, but maybe it would be a good fit for you to come and volunteer with us as well. So whatever works for you, I'm happy to answer questions throughout the presentation. So if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand or just shout them out. But then I'll also be available afterwards for questions if you'd like. Okay, so who are we? Our mission is that we, LSS-NCA, walks with those in need and mobilizes community partners to offer hope and rebuild lives. We've been around for 102 years now. We just celebrated our centennial 2 years ago. As I said, I work in the Refugee Resettlement Agency part of this, Refugee and Immigration Services, but we also, in other offices, have children and family services. We do adoption. We have an unaccompanied refugee minor program. So this helps kids that come to our borders without any adults with them, and we resettle them with host families. We also have a youth development and wellness program, and this helps youth mostly in the DC area, but we're expanding a little bit, who have HIV or AIDS, and we provide them support services as they navigate this difficult path for themselves. So as part of the Refugee and Immigrant Services Program, we serve a number of different populations, but who exactly we can serve is a little restricted because we get federal funding, and we can use these funds only for what they tell us we can use them for. So the program was set up in 1980 to serve primarily refugees. So these are people that come from, so that they have to flee their home country, and then they hopefully temporarily reside in a second country because they can't go back home because of fear of persecution or for natural environmental reasons. And then eventually they are resettled here in the United States. So this used to be the majority of the people we served was refugees. In 1980, the program was set up mostly to help refugees from Vietnam, but now we see refugees coming from all over the world. We can also help asylees, though. So asylees and refugees are a very similar group. These are individuals that have come to the United States, usually on student visas or some other legal way of coming into the country, and they decide that they cannot go home for fear of danger of their lives. So they apply for asylum when they're already in the United States, and they're granted asylum. Once they're granted asylum, we can help them. The process of applying for asylum can take anywhere from like 2 to 3 months to 5 years or something like that. So oftentimes these asylees have been here in the country for a long time already before they come to our office and we can provide them services. Right now, most of the individuals coming through our office are what we call special immigrant visa holders. So these are individuals from Iraq or from Afghanistan who helped the U.S. government in some capacity back home. So they might have been, the program was originally set up to help interpreters, but lately we're seeing interpreters, drivers, people that work for USAID projects, engineers that worked for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, accountants, just a whole wide range of professionals usually now coming in. And they are able to get the special immigrant visa, so they can just come to our office and ask for services. Right now, because of the restrictions on travel to the United States, most of the individuals coming to this area through our office are these special immigrant visa holders, or these SIVs as we call them. So probably something like 90% of our clients, I would guess, are coming from Afghanistan right now. Just to give you an idea of how many people we serve throughout the years, in fiscal year 2015, this is between our two offices, well, our three offices now, in Virginia and Maryland, we served a little less than 700. We saw a spike in fiscal year 2016, and in fiscal year 2017, we resettled more refugees than any other resettlement agency in the country. We served about 1,500 refugees that year. We were very lucky to be able to help so many people get resettled here in Northern Virginia, well, in the DC area, DMV area. In 2018, our arrivals dropped dramatically, and this is because a lot of people are not able to come into the country anymore. So there's restrictions on a lot of Middle Eastern, Northern African countries, and that's where most of our clients were coming from. And because of that, our arrivals dropped severely. There's also been longer wait times and more safety procedures going on for those individuals coming from Iraq and Afghanistan. And so once you apply for one of those special immigrant visas, it's taking a much longer time now to be granted those. So our arrivals have dropped, which is a very sad thing for us because we know that there are lots of individuals overseas that are wanting to come here, and they're just not able to. But on the other hand, it also gives us an opportunity to reach out into the community to see who is here that we have not reached yet and who is eligible for services and they just don't know it. So that's one of the reasons I'm here, is to reach out to all of you to let you know that you might be eligible for some of our services, or maybe you know somebody that's eligible for our services. So if you do, feel free to come up and ask me how to access these services. I'm happy to walk you through the process, refer you to the right person, all of that. So we're here to help the community, and we want to help as much as we can. And we recognize that there's a lot of need of people that are already here. They may have been here for a number of years, but they could still use some help getting settled. So I'm going to go through some of our services. So this has always been sort of the foundation of our organization, our reception and placement program. So this is the program that helps people get resettled when they're first here in the country. It's a 90-day program, so not very long, and it helps refugees. So the only two eligible populations for this are refugees and SIVs, so special immigrant visa holders, and they have to be within their first 90 days in the country to receive these services, because it's primarily set up to get people to make sure that they have a house, that they have enough money, or that they have access to food, they have medical insurance, all like the basic necessities for life in the United States. So this is probably not a program that is applicable to any of you, because you've been here for a number of years. But if you have relatives, friends that are new arrivals, they might be eligible for a program like this. So feel free to send them our way. In addition to the case management services, it comes with some financial benefits. Every individual gets $1,175, and so if it's a family of 5, multiply that by 5, so it'll be something like $6,000, right? So that helps people a lot when they get here, especially in this very expensive area in the DMV area. This is the program that is probably going to be of more interest to all of you. Through our employment programs, we can help refugees, asylees, trafficking victims, and those SIVs, those special immigrant visa holders. We also can help Amerasians and Cuban Haitian entrants, but these are two groups that we never see up here, so I'm not going to talk about those groups at all really today. So if you do, or you know somebody that falls into one of these categories, these are some of the services we can provide. So, well, first, the timeline is up to 5 years after arrival. So if you're a refugee, you arrived 2 years ago, we could still help you for up to 3 years. Same for asylees. For asylees, it's based on date of status, being granted asylum, and not on date of arrival. So that gives you a little more flexibility with what we can provide. So if an individual does fit one of these categories, we primarily, right, provide employment counseling. So I know that there's some employment services here, which is great, but I tell everybody that the more people helping you, the better. So we have employment trainings, we help you search for jobs, we'll help you look at resumes, we'll help you practice interviews. If you're already working, we'll help you get a job upgrade, maybe in the same company, the same organization, or somewhere else. We have lots of connections with employers in the community, so we have some employers that we bring our clients to the employer and they'll get hired that day. So we have a lot of, we can provide a lot of help for people that are interested. We also can do some basic case management, so if any of you need to apply for food stamps, Medicaid, Social Security, or you know somebody that does, or you've already got in one of these programs, but there's been some issues and your benefits have stopped, we are happy to look into these issues for you. We do it all the time with our clients. We have good connections with Fairfax County and Alexandria City, Loudoun and Prince William, so we can certainly step in and figure out what's going on with your benefits, help you get what you're entitled to. We also do referrals. We don't have ESL, English training, in-house, but we have connections with lots of people. Northern Virginia Family Services, we refer people to a lot, and I know you have an ESL program here. We also refer people for vocational trainings. We have a lot of connections with vocational training providers in the community, so if you're interested in a security training or a certified nursing assistant or various IT degrees, certifications, anything of this sort, we can refer you to those programs, and sometimes we can even help you pay for them. Or if we can't pay for them, we can refer you out to other places that can. We also get involved with helping individuals apply for college, if that's something that you want, university. We again have connections with the universities in this area, and we can help you with that. We can help you find financial aid if that's something that you need. We can do sort of anything job and educational related we can help you with. We also have a sewing class this is particularly for Afghan women, because we have a lot of women who don't speak English who we still want to help provide them skills. I know that there's a sewing class here, which is great. It's definitely been seen as a need in the community, so it's great that there's so many places doing this. We're really excited about this program, and so we're hoping to grow it in the future. We have a lot of social integration activities, and we can sort of refer out to that. We have a lot of congregations, mosques, churches that provide activities for us. We have potlucks, or we have a refugee day in the summer. We had a bike event where we gave out bikes to children. We have a lot of different activities like that too. It's sometimes just good to get together with a community and have fun. And there, depending on your status and how soon after arrival or the status being granted, we can provide some cash and rental assistance as well. So this is open to less people than some of the other services, but we do have this benefit for certain individuals. So again, if you have questions about this, questions about your eligibility, contact me, talk to me afterwards, or I have materials here about our services and ways to contact us in the future. So feel free to come and ask about any of this. In addition to our employment program, we have a couple other sort of support programs. We have this program that we call the Virginia Refugee Student Assistance Program. It provides out-of-school support for children ages 5 to 19. And so, well, in addition to helping with school enrollment, we'll help with things. We have a homework club that meets regularly where kids just come and meet with volunteers who help them with their homework or help them. We've had situations where a student came and was very interested in learning computer coding, and there happened to be a volunteer there that knew about computer coding, and so was able to give him like specialized instruction on that just because he was interested in it. We do career counseling for the older end of this spectrum, right? So for the kids that are about to graduate from high school, we'll talk to them about What do you want to do after you graduate? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to get an apprenticeship? Do you want to start working? What is your goal, and how can we help you achieve your goal? We'll help them with applying to college and getting financial assistance and all that as well. So I'm very excited about this program because I think kids, once they're in school, oftentimes we tend to say that's good enough, but this program is really set up to give them extra support. Make sure that they're participating in after-school activities and really integrating into their community. We also have this program called REO, Refugee Health Education and Outreach Program, and this we have one person, a school or health liaison, who assists with insurance issues. I think she spends a lot of her time with this because medical insurance in the United States, as I'm sure you all know, is very complicated, and things happen all the time where you could use some extra support figuring out, like, I got this hospital bill, I don't think I need to pay it, but what do I do? So we have somebody in our office that can walk you through some of these things with insurance, or maybe you lost Medicaid, and so what do you do now? How do you get health insurance if you're not eligible for Medicaid anymore? So she does a lot of figuring out with insurance issues. She also helps complicated health cases. So if there's one of our clients that needs a wheelchair or needs dialysis or needs something that's sort of above and beyond general case management services, she will step in and figure out what they need and how to get them what they need. And make sure they see the right doctors, that sort of thing. She does. We have a lot of women who are pregnant that come in through us, so she works with them and makes sure they're getting the care they need for that. She also has a health class for Afghan women. Again, this is the majority of our population, which is really interesting because a lot of these women don't speak English. They don't get out of the house, and so it brings them together to have a community away from their families that's just themselves, and provides them extra information about women's health issues. So we also have a citizenship and immigration program, and so this is slightly different from our other in that anybody is eligible for this. And our workers in this program help with any sort of documentation applications for immigration-related status changes usually. So if you need to apply for a green card, we can help with that process. If you need to apply for citizenship, we can help with that process. We help obtain travel documents. If any of you have families that you want to bring over, we can help with that. And we also have citizenship classes. So many of you probably know that in order to become a citizen, you have to pass a test, an English test and a knowledge test. And we have classes that will help prepare you for that. I have flyers up here about the classes. We have another session starting. We have a session going on right now. Our next session will start in May. So if any of you would like that, we're going to or would be interested in having that class, contact me or come and get the flyer, and we can get you registered for that. It's also a class, a way to practice your English for the test. It's a little bit of everything. And I just want to stress this is not just for refugees, asylees, SCVs. This is for anybody. An American citizen could walk in and say, I have some family overseas that I want to help resettle here or get resettled here, and so they could even walk in. So this could be for anyone. Okay, so those are our basic services that we provide to clients. So again, if any of you are interested, come talk to me. We can get you hooked up with the services that you're eligible for. But many of you, I think, have been here for a number of years, so you might not actually be eligible. You might not need anything from us, but we do have volunteer opportunities. We always need volunteers. We really run on the backs of volunteers. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our typical volunteer opportunities. But we also, if there's a project that you would like to do, we are also very flexible. So you could just say, I want to volunteer with you, and I want to do this, and we can probably make that happen. Okay, so in addition to it being very helpful for us, it could also be helpful for you all to get some U.S. sort of work experience, right? Even though you're not being paid, it'll look good on your resume. It'll give you some experience in a work-like environment, and it's giving back to the community. It's volunteerism is seen as a very important aspect of being an American, and so it's something that I've done in myself, and I highly recommend that everybody does at some point in their life. So these are just some of the various types of opportunities that we have available. Again, if you want to do something that you don't see up here, we're happy to listen to see what would be of interest to you. So we have a number of volunteers that go into our clients' homes and help them with something. So it might be working with some of our refugee youth to help with the career development, empowerment, civic engagement. It might be a family mentor, so working with an entire family, usually when they first arrive, to make sure that everything is going okay. These families usually will have a case manager, but it's always good to have an extra volunteer, somebody else in the home helping them out with maybe English language training, or maybe helping them look at their resume, maybe helping them to find the library, maybe introducing them to the mosque, whatever would make sense for that particular family and for you as a volunteer. Sometimes I talked about our homework help club. You could help with that. If you are particularly interested in helping people find employment, we would hook you up, with me, and I would have you look at people's resumes, or help with our pre-employment training, or whatever made sense for you. We also have this women's empowerment program. And the sewing club is part of that, but we're also always looking to engage our female clients more, because oftentimes we don't see them as much as the men, and they don't necessarily get out of the house as much as the men, and so we're always looking to help to get more people into our office to help with this initiative. However, we also have administrative assistants, so people that just come in and sort of do any type of office work that we need. We always need help filing and answering phone calls and getting people signed up for services. So we definitely would be happy to have somebody doing sort of office work. So we're lucky in that we have a lot of donors out in the community that donate furniture to us, like beds or sofas or dressers. And usually it's the staff that goes out and collects them, but we are also looking for volunteers to go ahead and help us with that process, because that takes a lot of time, and it would be great to have volunteers doing that instead of staff who could then be using their time with our clients. We also have, this is kind of a new opportunity with us, a speakers bureau. So these are volunteers that would go out into the community, much like I'm doing right now, and talk to people about our services and who we are and what we do. Just a way of making ourselves more visible in the communities, but also outreaching to people that might be eligible for our services. So if you like public speaking and that's something that you'd want to do, we are always looking for people to help us out with that too. So if volunteering is something that you want to do with us, I would just recommend talking to me today, and I can get your information. As I said, I have flyers here too that you can come and grab that has my information or our immigration counselor's information there. So you can also just reach out to me. We also have a website, so you could just Google us and get the information there. The first thing that you would do is attend an information session, so just sort of a gathering like this where we tell you a little bit more about us and what a volunteer opportunity would actually look like. We have to have you complete a background check because you could be working with sensitive information with our clients. We then get you assigned an opportunity, so it could be having you come into our office on Mondays and Wednesdays for the office work. It could be matching you with a family, whichever volunteer opportunity you're interested in. And then we'd ask you to log your hours and mileage for yourself, but also for us. We count in-kind donations, like volunteer donations, and it really helps our financial situation. So that's hugely helpful. So those are the refugee programs that we have, the Refugee Immigrant Services programs. I'm going to just speak very briefly about some of our others in case the refugee program is not of interest, but maybe some of the others are. So as I mentioned before, we have an URM, the Unaccompanied Refugee Minor Program. And this is a program that it operates in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, where we are referred children that come to the United States without parents, and we find them foster parents. So right now, most of these kids are coming up from the Mexican border, from Central America, and they need homes. But we've had kids from Ethiopia, from Afghanistan, from other places in Africa come in. So we have a diverse population. Most of them are Central American at this point. So we're always looking for foster parents. If anybody is interested in that, we can also get you connected with that program. We have adoption services. So if anybody is interested in adopting, we can help you with that. And as I mentioned before too, we have this youth development and wellness program. So this is a program that supports youth in the DC area with that are living with HIV or AIDS, and we always need volunteers for this program. They run camps, they do lots of activities with these kids, and it's a fun project because you're working with lots of kids with lots of energy, and it's just a really great program for the community in DC. So those are most of our. That's us basically. This is my information up here. As I said, I also have flyers with my information and more information about how to contact us and about our various services. So I have flyers here for our citizenship program and for the services that we provide to clients. I also just wanted to mention briefly that I know that there's a career fair next week here on the 12th. We also are hosting a career fair on the 25th of March. So if you come here to the job fair on the 12th and you think it was a great experience and you want to come to another one, March 25th there will be one at our office on Little River Turnpike, and anybody is welcome. It's primarily going to be our clients, I think, attending, but we're opening up to the public at large. So please come. It's going to be probably very similar to this one. We have something like 10 different employers coming. Many of these employers have told us that they intend to interview on the spot. So we've set up some rooms for interviews that they can go ahead and do. So you're not just going to be submitting resumes. You're not just going to be talking to them. You can actually sit down for an interview with someone as well. So I have information about that on this table as well. Okay, so that was everything. Does anybody have any questions for me? No? Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm going to stick around for a little bit, so feel free to come up and ask me questions. And as I said, feel free to take flyers if any of this information is interesting to you. Okay, so thank you very much.